It's 1 minute gone past 9 a.m. Good morning and thank you for joining us on today's edition of News Punch on Diamond 88.7 FM Ilore, where we bring you the trending stories across the globe. I am Toby ADEBISI, and here are the stories making waves across the world this morning. A renowned constitutional lawyer, Professor Awalu Jadudu, and a human rights activist Femi Falana's son has described the refusal by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) to comply with the Supreme Court's judgment on the old naira notes as contemptuous and the highest disregard for the rule of law. Last Friday, in a unanimous judgment, a 7-member panel of justices of the Supreme Court, presided over by Justice Ian Okoro, ordered the circulation of the old naira notes alongside the new ones until December 31, 2023. 6 days after the judgment, the Apex Bank and the federal government are yet to act on it, thus causing confusion in the country. Yadudu and Falana said it was quite unfortunate that President Muhammadu Buhari would allow this disregard for the rule of law to be his known trait. Ahead of the governorship elections in Lagos, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to directly and electronically upload the results of the governorship and state house of assembly elections in Lagos State from the polling units to the INEC result viewing portal (IREV). Justice Peter Lifu granted the order while delivering judgment in a suit filed by the Labour Party and 41 others, in which they sought an order of mandamus to compel INEC to obey the Electoral Act and its guidelines for the conduct of the elections. The judgment held that the court possessed the jurisdiction to entertain the suit because it was commenced in accordance with the provisions of the law. On the foreign scene, Russia has unleashed a barrage of missiles on cities across Ukraine, including the capital Kyiv, the Black Sea port of Odessa, the northeastern city of Kharkiv, according to Ukrainian officials and media reports. The missile attacks set off raid sirens all across Ukraine early this morning. In Kyiv, Mayor Vitaly Klitschko reported explosions in the city's southern Oleksykiv district. Klitschko adds that power supply has been cut preemptively to about 15% of Kyiv residents. In sports, Victor Osimhen has been named the best player in Serie A for the month of February by the Italian Footballers Association (AIC). The Nigeria international was on target 4 times in 4 leagues appearances for Serie A leaders Napoli during the month. This latest accolade is coming on the heels of the 2022 Best Foreign Athlete Award he won. Osimhen has scored 19 goals in 21 league appearances for Napoli this season. And that's all we have for you on this edition of News Punch. Up next is the Diamond Breakfast Show, where we'll bring you the analysis of the stories. Do stay tuned.
The major talking point in Nigeria are always on the lips of the citizens.
What's going on in this country? Look at smaller countries taking lead and you call yourself giant of Africa. Yeah.
Nigeria don't spoil my business too much. Nigeria is too hard for us. I mean, I want to kill us. Father, not kill us for Nigeria. Oh, please, help us beg them.
They should reduce their expenditure so that they can free enough money for social development.
I wish for a Nigeria where we elect a leader based on competency and not popularity.
On the Diamond Breakfast Show, we place the spotlight on the critical issues in the country.
Government that says they are broke can prioritize construction of an additional runway over education of the people.
How can a government, how can you hurt Indomine? I mean, this is intolerable. It's provocative.
Now, you see, when you look at our democratic journey, we are yet to practice genuine democratic system in Nigeria.
Join us on Mondays to Friday on the DBS from 9 to 10 a.m. The Diamond Breakfast Show, amplifying the voice of the people.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's still the Diamond Breakfast Show on Diamond 88.7 FM, where we bring you the trending stories across the world and also in Nigeria every day from Mondays to Fridays. We'll be right here bringing these stories and their analysis to you. I am Tobi ADEBISI, and to do this with me this morning is Mr. Demola Akinyemi, a veteran journalist with the Vanguard newspaper and a public affairs analyst. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, listeners. Thank you for having me again.
And it's amazing to have you in the house again.
It's good to see you too.
Well, Nigerians have a lot to talk about this morning. We have a lot to pay our attention to, but we've extracted two topics to be the chief discussion points for this morning. So there was a twist to the earlier decision made by the Labour Party and the PDP to inspect the election materials used for the presidential election of February 25. Of course, we all know that a lot of reactions greeted INEC's eventual announcement of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president-elect of Nigeria. So the Court of Appeal in Abuja yesterday granted INEC permission to reconfigure the bimodal voter accreditation system that we know as BVAS machines used for the 25 February presidential and National Assembly elections across the country. Now, a three-member panel of the appellate court, led by Joseph Ike, granted permission to the electoral body to reconfigure the machines ahead of the governorship and houses of assembly by elections across the 36 states of the federation. Elections that eventually were, postponed. Now, the panel, however, ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to upload the data on the BVAS machines to the back-end server and make certified true copies of the data to the respondents. Let's underline certified true copies. Now, the court had earlier granted an order permitting the People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Abubakar Atiku and his Labour Party rival Peter Obi to inspect the BVAS machines and other sensitive electoral materials. And apart from granting them the access to the materials, the court had, in its ruling delivered on 3rd March, also restrained INEC from tampering with the BVAS machines pending the inspection to be conducted by the candidates. Now, the inspection has even been suspended until after the governorship election. Well, this is a lot to take in and digest, but I want to get your reaction first on this. What are your thoughts on this development?
Thank you very much. For me, so far so good. The judiciary, the court has done fantastically, very well. They have done very well to the extent that granting granting Labour Party and the PDP agreed candidates to inspect the election materials even after the election. That's a good one. It has been fair. Court is about being fair to all parties, so it has been fair to the PDP and the Labour Party agreed candidates. On the other side of the bypass issue, you see, ordinarily, bypass is a fundamental aspect of this election. Are you getting it? And when you talk about the integrity of this election, everything rests on bypass. Are you getting it? So for court, because if you go further in that story, court has also the INEC assured court that it will ensure that all the information on the bypass are saved before it configure it ahead of the next election. Are you getting it? So for me, both the Labour Party and the PDP have nothing to fear in this regard. So the court has done well, so far so good, as far as I am concerned.
All right, thank you so much. Late yesterday, INEC postponed the election, the governorship election, on the excuse or on the ground that it needs time to be able to reconfigure the BVAS. Although yesterday we also heard of a ruling by the appellate court, saying that the INEC should go ahead and reconfigure the BVAS as against what the LP presidential candidate Peter Obi was, trying to let the court do. But the court actually gave the go-ahead for INEC to reconfigure the beavers. The party said they need to inspect the materials. INEC announced the postponement not before the court judgment, but after. What are the intrigues that come with this decision?
Yes, it's good. INEC was in a long meeting yesterday, and going by the controversies that greeted the February 25th election, and quite a number of issues that came up, particularly the aspect of the INEC also admitting that there were logistic crises, as a result of that, coming up from that elections. So if INEC could come out, because what everybody is expecting is a better election. It's a better election than what we witnessed in the 25th election. Nobody wants to hear any story this time around. And INEC knew that Nigeria would not take any excuse from it. So if INEC could come out and looking at whatever circumstances it has found itself, and the way I'm managed to go about presenting and conducting a better election for Nigerians, if it sees it felt that extending the election by 1 week will make it better, it is good. Let's go. Between now and few days, we have next week. But I'm of opinion that INEC has also done what is needful, because everybody knew that going by what happened, they have limited time to make quite a few amendments of the fundamental problems that created that elections. So if they have for 1 week of extension for the next election, I think INEC is in order. We are just hoping and praying that even when the time comes, the election will be better based on the 1 week they have.
All right, thank you so much. Don't forget that you can be a part of the conversation. Join us on WhatsApp on 091 66556864. Once again, the number to use on WhatsApp and for your text message is 091 66556864. And when it's time for your calls, the number to use is 091 Now, yesterday, I was saying yesterday that the Court of Appeal turned down the request of the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, seeking to stop the INEC from reconfiguring the beavers equipment used for the conduct of the February 25 presidential election. The court held that granting the request would jeopardize the electoral body in the conduct of the March now 18 governorship and state of houses of assembly elections. We want to look at the reasons for Obi even applying for that, saying that the beavers should not be reconfigured when we get back from the break. So I want you to think about that while we go on that break. We'll go on a short break. Stay with us. It's still the DBS.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM, shining supreme.
Shine bright like a diamond.
ikú parapọ̀ ikú ọmọlé èrún parapọ̀ wọ́n máa gìyàn gbogbo ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara ẹja parapọ̀ sóríire látara ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú People's Democratic Party PDP ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú tó mẹ̀tọ́ tó mú ká yóò gbẹdẹmukẹ fún tolórí tẹlẹ́mù tó nílé tàlejò nígbà tí wọ́n ṣèjọba ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP láàánú mẹ̀kúnnù bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n kó àkóyawọ́ àwọn àkànṣe iṣẹ́ jàǹkànjàǹkàn ní díẹ̀ nínú àwọn iṣẹ́ tí ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP ti ṣe sẹ́yìn ẹja tara ṣàṣàgbá káàdì ìdìbò wa ká parapọ̀ dẹ́gbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP padà àní sọ̀bùnú bẹ́ẹ̀ là ní ṣìbòdì.
ẹ̀yin ará Kwara mi ọ̀wọ́n ká dìbò fẹ́gbẹ́ tó láàánú ará ìlú ó sú wa ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò fún ẹgbẹ́ PDP.
PDP, power to the people.
You're listening to Diamond 88.7 FM, shining supreme.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Alright, welcome back, and it's still the Diamond Breakfast Show on Diamond 88.7 FM. Before we went on that break, I made an introduction on a new issue still concerning the BVAS, the presidential candidates of the Labour Party and the PDP. Now, Peter Obi filed a suit to restrain the INEC from reconfiguring the BVAS machines used for the presidential election ahead of the governorship and states of House of Assembly, all of that, the coming election. In short, I want us to explore the reasons. What is he afraid of? How important is the reconfiguring? If the BVAS machines are reconfiguring, what are the likely things to happen to, probably be a hindrance to the case, to the case in front of the court?
You see, the configuring, going by the layman understanding, if you configure your phone, you lose all the contents, right? It's just like if you are flashing your phone. I think that is what the configuration is all about. And if you look at the outcome of the last election, there are a lot of upsets. People never expected certain things that happen. Certain things that happen, people never expected them. Are you getting it? For instance, of taking up Lagos is unheard of, and quite a number of other places that, we had one or two upsets here and there, even across the country, right? And of course, like I said, a number of controversies that trailed that election, having to, upload some result manual and all of that because of the crisis of the server and all of that. So you cannot expect somebody like Obi coming from that experience not to come to term with the fact that the Bible should not be tampered with, so that he can have his facts intact ahead of the, taking the matter to court. That is understandable. Are you getting it? But the other aspect of it is that when the matter was taken to court, I think INEC too has done well, like I said earlier, by allowing the BIVAS information on BIVAS. He said there were affidavit that have been sworn to by INEC that the information on BIVAS will be saved and stored for safety, that they will not be tampered with. And at the time the INEC presented this affidavit in the court, the Labour Party did not oppose it, as it were. Are you getting? So coming to the conclusion that BIVAS should be reconfigured, I think it's not a bad idea at all. And to me, the court has given fair hearing to both sides. But like I said, the issue of Labour Party initially disagreeing that the BIVAS should not be tampered with was understandable, and I think it has been settled in the court.
All right.
As far as I know.
All right. Thank you. But while you were defining the essence or the meaning of reconfiguration for the BVAS machines, this dropped in my mind, and it's the fact that one of the reasons for even using BVAS machines, or even using machines at all in our electoral process as against what we had in the past, is one of the reasons is to have a permanent record of everything going on, of everything that happened, because we can't boast that all the elections that we've had before, we have all the records, we have all the papers and all of that. So one of the reasons, I believe that one of the reasons for using BVAS machines is to have a permanent record. Now that reconfiguration is coming in, INEC is saying, they've signed a paper to ascertain that everything is still going to be safe. But if there is like you said, with reconfiguration, there is a chance that every data will be lost. So if there's such chance, is the reason for BVAS still not defeated?
Thank you, my sister. You see, as a journalist in the last election, I went around, and I want to tell you the fantastic things BIVAS did.
Thanks.
That I actually witnessed. We went around, and at the end of the election in a particular place, I will not mention that place, people did not come. Are you getting it? Maybe because of cash problem or distance or whatever. So we had not less than about 300 booklets. Are you getting it? Left unused by electorates. In another time before BIVAS issue. Some people will take all these things into a particular house and thumbprint all of them and find a way to put them inside the ballot box, so to say. That was the case before Bivas came. So, like I've said, the issue that we have at hand now is about how to ensure that the data, the records on the Bivas
are maintained,
are not tampered with. And I think if this is defeated, like you have said now, I think that would be the problems of the Labour Party and the so-called PDP candidates were setting in this case. Because if they did not in any way oppose the agreement, the promise by the INEC that they will save the data. I don't know. I'm not an IT person. Are you getting it? I think, and I mean, Labour Party should have interrogated that aspect we are talking about now.
Yeah.
They should have interrogated it and get a sound conviction that truly these documents, the records, whatever data on the Bivas across the nation will not be tampered with. Going by the plan that we are going to save it. Because like yourself now, absolutely, like we are saying now, if in the process of saving it and anything happens, so be it. It means that's the loss of the Labour Party. Are you getting it? Because this is supposed to have interrogated that particular aspect of the affidavit. If they are convinced, if they do not oppose it, it means they are convinced by that argument. But for me, IT is a very sensitive aspect. Are you getting it? It may be, it may not be. But if there's a particular way they can do it and make sure that it's completely saved and it does not affect the newness of the Bivas that we will use for another election, so be it. But it is not impossible.
All right, thank you so
much. Parties